Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Google Workspace Recap, a Tab Geeks Network show. Each week we take you through everything announced by Google Workspace, discussing the updates of the week and other relevant news and announcements. My name is Jesse Nolan, my co-host is Steve Larson, and we're here to help you keep up. If you can't obviously tell, and for those of you who are on the podcast world, not really relevant to you, but I'm testing out a new camera this week. I've got the highly anticipated Opal C1 invitation-only 4K DSLR quality fancy schmancy webcam. Well, it's not that great yet, but I still have a lot of tweaking to do. I've just plugged it in, but I think I'm looking a little pink, honestly.
Yeah, I think you just spend the extra $150 and get like the Canon EOS Rebel T7. And
I have a T6 laying around from years ago, or T3i from years ago, and a T6, I think.
Yeah.
But those don't do video like at all. So, but I think I can adjust
T7
this on the
does.
fly. So I might have to do that. But I do have an unboxing video for this camera coming in the next week or two. So if you're interested in that, check it out on the Tab Geeks YouTube channel. And I'm going to do a full comparison. Maybe I think that it's just tweaking that I have to do on the software side here to get it to where I want it to be, because I've done many hours of testing and tweaking of my environment with my other camera or other cameras, because I've used both the Dell Ultra Sharp 4K webcam as well as the Logitech Brio, which is the camera that Steve is using as well right now. And I've played around with my lighting environment and setup specifically for those models, but with the Opal changing so much and having a much larger sensor, there's a lot more light coming in, and so therefore I'm probably oversaturating myself, and I can turn it down a little bit. Here we go. There you go. Now it's down a little bit. I look a little bit better. It's pretty cool that I can do it on the fly. We'll see how it actually comes out in post when I post the video and edit the video. Maybe I can clean it up there. But I'd love to be able to just get the proper DSLR quality on here. Obviously, the bigger sensor is great. 60 frames per second in 4K is awesome. And the fact that it's able to just keep in focus right now is what I'm going for, because for some reason, as you saw in last week's episode, the Dell camera kept going out of focus. So I don't know. We'll keep playing with it. But for now, you get me in raw, unoptimized. Anyway, what's going on, Steve?
oh, not much. A lot of updates this week.
So many.
Yeah. And what else has been happening? Not much else. As you can tell, I've been out in the sun this last week or so.
Yeah, getting a little sun there.
Enjoying the weather here. It's been nice. Yeah, in terms of updates here, decent number of updates we have. 8 of them, 6 announcements throughout the week, and then 2 ones snuck in there in the end of week recap. But on our other topics, we are basically running out of space. We're not going to have enough room, I think, for all of our links and our text in our show notes.
True. And I am several weeks, if not months at this point, behind on posting the show notes on the blog. So I apologize, everybody. I got pulled back into doing the IT manager gig full-time again. As of next week, I will go back to working part-time on the day job and part-time on Tab Geek, so I can be cranking out all of the normal setups as it was before. So hang in there for a couple more weeks, and things will go back to normal production-wise for us. But I will have to make sure to do this one so that we can get all of the show notes in there.
I was gonna say, just have to get this one out with the with this episode, because we have a lot of details here. We have, I think when I first counted them, there were 10. I think we now have 12, maybe.
No, more than that. 12 additional topics in addition to
additional things to talk about.
8 actual updates. So
yeah,
big show.
Maybe 11, because you like to duplicate topics there in the other
fine.
the other news. But whatever. So let's get these headlines run through here, so we know what we're going to be talking about. So a couple of those silent releases, as we like to refer to them as in the weekly recap post. We have Google Voice now going to support 2 simultaneous calls. Coincidentally, I was just experienced this lack of this feature this other week. I was trying to call 2 people and merge them in on one call. Couldn't do it, and realized, voice can't do that. And then another time I was on a call, and at the same time received another call from someone else, and it doesn't really notify you about that incoming call. It just essentially silently sends them to voicemail. So glad to see that feature coming out. I think that's the details of what's included there and when. And then there is the new integrated view is now the standard experience for Gmail. And one thing I noticed on that, as you all may have noticed, is they changed the font. Actually, I've had the new experience enabled for quite some time, but it seems like as they rolled it out, they decided to change the font a little bit on us.
I guess that's why they hit the brakes on that. They decided they needed a couple of last-minute changes in there.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it looks like Google Sans is what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it looks like to me.
There's also some color in it before that we've never seen before. So,
right. And then the other thing too that's happening is part of the new experience is I keep getting these notifications that my side panel was collapsed to give you more space. Open it to see other tabs and add-ons that work with TabGeek's mail, like calendar and tasks. Of course, that's with our recap account here.
Yeah, I almost never have that closed, so that's interesting.
Yeah. And then, you get these little helper icons now. It's like you can customize which apps are shown in Gmail here. And some other little notifications all over the place with the new interface. One thing to note, you can still go back to the original view if you need to. So that still is an option.
For now.
For now, yes. And then getting into our 6 updates that we had through the week. We have improving the Google Workspace experience on large screen for Android devices. You can now migrate unmanaged accounts to your domain using the new user invitation API functionality. Working locations is going to be enabled by default. You can use the Cloud Search Query API to suggest filters to enhance Cloud Search results. Be interested to see if anyone out there is actually using this Cloud Search functionality. I don't think it has. Not many, as we said before, not too frequent of a feature. I think mostly bigger enterprise customers are maybe using that, perhaps with their legacy data environments, data storage environments. Next, we have assignments audit data now available in the admin console, so that's for those education customers. And then this is a very interesting one.
Yeah.
New integrated email marketing tools for Gmail. Basically, mail merge is what it is.
Proper, real mail merge.
Yeah, mail merge and layouts. That's
Halt
the two
the presses.
Headlines there. Yep. Just as we're moving everyone over to HubSpot, though, so it's like now I have to explain when to use HubSpot and when not to use HubSpot. And then in our other topics in the news, we have a lot of stuff. Do we usually cover the other topics in the summary? I think we do, right?
Yeah, we do.
We do, yeah. Sorry, I'm forgetting our agenda here and how we do things. The new Google Workspace features for Android's larger screens. Oh yeah, right. We already talked about that one, but we have an article here from, I think it's from the Keyword. Chrome OS personalization productivity features are announced. It's from Chrome Unboxed. New video editing and productivity features coming to Chromebook. That's a Google blog article there. And then that includes a complimentary article from The Verge, which is talking about how Google is making it easier to edit PDFs on Chromebooks. A very local announcement, thing happening with Google here, that Google is going to be coming to Chicago's Thompson Center. And so Thompson Center is just a big building here in Chicago. Used to be a lot of government offices and courthouses, things like that here. The train station in there is kind of a cool place. They're doing some renovations on it to get it up to some sort of environmentally friendly classification. But in the Google blog article, which is the one we'll reference in our show notes, it referenced 1871, the company I work for, which is kind of cool because we are actually, we're one of the Google for Startup locations across the U.S. for Google, and we've been very closely linked to Google over the years. So they had a little shout out to us in the bullet points there at the end, talking about how Google supports the state's technology entrepreneurs, including 1871 and Bunker Labs, the two references they put there. So, yeah, that was kind of nice to see. And then moving on, we have some other local stuff happening in Chicago. There is a C2C Chicago event happening later this month, which I will try to get to, but I'm not sure if I will be able to make it. Some pretty big news in terms of what Google Workspace is doing from kind of a certification, attestation, authorization kind of stance here. It has earned DoD's IL4 authorization status, which, of course, has taken a fair amount of work to get that. And then something a little bit more fun. There is a robot game in Google Meet if you are waiting for someone else to join the meeting. Now, it looks to me like this is only on your working on your consumer Gmail account. I have not seen it yet on a Workspace account, but just like you have the dinosaur game in Chrome when you go offline, this is the same type of game with robots, and it happens in Meet. So you will, if you join Meet from your consumer account, I think the first time you are sitting there waiting, you'll see a little robot popping along the bottom and entice you to open up the activities panel and engage with the robot game. So check that out. Next, we have some support for the Economic Opportunity Coalition. Don't know what that one's all about. So Jesse article looks like, along with an article from Ars Technica here, talking about Google CEO Sundar saying that productivity is nowhere where it needs to be.
Not where it needs to be.
Nowhere. It's all the
Both
same.
are accurate.
Same, yeah, it's all the same. And then a couple things happening on the certification topic. That's not what I'm trying to say, but
certification
there's
front.
some new certification front.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
that was the word I was looking for. Exactly, certification front. Professional cloud database engineer is going to have a little, getting to know you event on this Thursday, August 4th. So they have a new cloud database engineer certification, so you learn all about that. But then maybe a little bit more relevant to our Workspace customers, because that is who we have here. There is a new professional Chrome OS administrator beta exam, and it is a very nice 5-hour exam.
Brutal.
Split into two parts. One being at home and remote, proctored, of course, but then another one where you have to go into a testing center. So it's split into two. You definitely have to. I know the remotely proctored one has to be done prior to August 14th. You also have to create a new Webassessor account. We'll share that link. So if you've had to do some certifications for education, you'll know that you have to also have a separate account for Webassessor with your education certifications, your professional cloud certifications, and then you have this one here for the Chrome OS beta exam. So you'll need to do that. You'll also need to be in front of a Mac or Windows machine to take it. Interestingly enough,
the Chrome OS certification
administrator exam
on Chrome
cannot be taken from Chrome OS. Yes, it cannot. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah, the Sentinel app that is required for remote proctoring
makes sense.
can't be installed on Chrome OS. So
I wanted to point out I don't know if you missed this because it didn't show up in the RSS feed, or if this was just an omission because we already covered this. But the better search and suggestions option in Gmail update is back. This is the one that we had covered that had disappeared, and it is both on the blog and in the recap post. So I don't know why you didn't have it here. Could be you just missed it, but it actually has more information on it. Yeah, they relaunched the update on Wednesday, July 27th, and we can go into that and talk about that
Where
more.
do they have this in the recap here?
Better search and suggestions option. It's the second to last.
Oh, interesting. That is interesting because
I remembered seeing it while you were going through the updates. I'm like, wait a minute, that should be here. Where did it go?
yeah, it's right. It's not in the RSS feed. That's why, because it was already in the RSS feed last week.
Yep, I figured that's what it was. So we can add that back in there.
Yep.
As the penultimate update for the official updates of the week. Better search and suggestion options in Gmail.
Well, it's interesting because, Wednesday, July 27th is what they've now dated this article. So, I guess, that was last week then, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, great.
So you start talking, I'm adding it to the notes. Done.
Oh, okay. I'll do that.
All right, first update.
Yeah.
The silent releases, actually.
Just get the silent releases. Exactly that one. So, as if we were saying, support for simultaneous calls now available in voice. Rolled out on this one.
Google finally adding some basic telephony features. Sorry.
Yeah. So this one is, there's not exactly a detail on the rollout pace, but it looks like it's kind of the typical 15 days complete type of thing. It's rolling out to the web first, and it'll roll out to Android and iOS in the coming weeks. So if you want to take advantage of this, you got to be using voice from your computer, and it'll be available for Voice Starter, Standard, Premier customers, and all voice users. So check that out. There'll be a little option to make an additional call or accept another incoming call in the side panel there, as you have the call open. And then I'm sure there'll be an update to those iOS and Android apps as they roll out there, as they say, in the coming week.
I'm just going to point out that the person they put on hold and call in the GIF here is the Weather Network.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, and Matthew Main Google Voice is calling.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if we can give Matthew a call. I mean, it's
why not?
We've got his number. Yeah, if you want to give Matthew a call, his number is 650-667-6549.
It's the new 867-5309. Dating myself.
Yep.
Here with that reference.
So.
Well, it's good to see Google moving voice
so
forward with some original,
Yeah.
Revolutionary new features here that they should have launched with in the first place. Whatever, man.
Sorry, yawn in there.
It's all good. I got your back.
It's getting late on my end. It's already 11:30.
Let's roll.
Next is that new integrated view is the standard experience for Gmail, as we were saying. And what it says here is by August 5th, so in a couple days, if you're listening to this as we launch the episode, users who have not opted in will begin seeing the new experience by default. But as we said, they can still revert to the classic Gmail settings. And then within the next 2 months, this will become the default experience with no option to revert back. So your users will have a 2-month easing in period. So, let them know that they will eventually be looking at that all day long, the new interface. And as I think that forcing of the new interface is approaching, it says that they will share an update on the updates blog at that time. Essentially, this is really rolling out to everyone. So, there's some information on that we can link to. There was an announcement on July 27th on the keyword about that. So I don't know if we linked on there, but we will include that one as well. It is in the recap post. So let me just add that
I got it
there. You got it?
You beat me to it.
Got it.
Okay,
Beat you to it. Yeah, faster. A speeding bullet. Okay. Next, we have, I'm going to make sure I'm going in the right order here. Yes, improving the Google Workspace experience on large screen Android devices. Something I have not used in a long time, to be honest. I mean, not just Android devices, though. Tablets. I haven't used a tablet in ages. I'm very much, using my laptop, my MacBook Pro, my Mac Mini, and then my Android.
So I use
Pixel.
tablets, and I use the iPad Pro, not an Android tablet, and I very, very much would like to see some massive overhaul updates come to the collection of Google apps that are available on the iPad, because quite frankly, I can't even really do my email unless I load up Gmail in the browser on the iPad. It's annoying. Yeah, I've never liked it.
You should get an Android tablet.
I guess I should. I think I have. I think at the office we have some Samsung tablets I could probably grab and see if I could test some of the stuff out on.
Yeah, I wonder what a good Android tablet is these days. I haven't even checked that out recently.
Microsoft Foldy device thing.
I wish Google would have like a Pixel tablet. That'd be kind of cool.
Well, it was. I heard that. It was rumored that not rumored. It was confirmed. I think at I/O that they are developing a new tablet, and then we surmised that it would be a dockable Google Home Hub kind of a setup. So we'll see. Stay tuned, I suppose.
Yeah, that's my trumpet sound when I get a text message. I don't think it's within
reach. It sounded like it was further away.
So we might hear.
Better than my father-in-law's old sound was the Minions one. You ever hear that? Where it's the Minions from what do you call it? Despicable Me. And so he used to have his volume all the way up, and even at the office, he would just leave it on. He'd forget it was on, and all of a sudden you'd hear "Woohoo! Text message!" Just like, oh god, there it is. Okay.
Nice.
Good times.
Kind of quick summary on this Android device large screen experience. This is some functionality coming to the Drive, Docs, Sheet, Slides, and Keep applications on Android devices. Some drag and drop in Docs, Sheets, and Drive. So there's some animations here showing what that looks like. I think we talked about something like this before, about drag and drop with Keep images and that in one of the updates the other week. So it looks like we're getting a little bit more details here. Some keyboard support for Drive, Docs, and Slides. Multi-instance support on Drive as well. So all of those enhancements, hoping to improve your experience there on those larger Android screened devices. And not too much to report on the rollouts here. Well, actually, there is a lot. Yeah, here we go. I thought this was just the admin and end user section, but we do have some rollout pace here. A couple features are available now. That keyword support, drag and drop in Drive, and multi-instance support in Drive. And then what is going to be gradually rolling out for rapid release and scheduled release domains starting the 20th of July is the keyboard support for Docs and Slides, and the drag and drop in Docs and Sheets. Interesting way that they've split that rollout between those features, but that is what that looks like. all users are going to get this, of course, because it's really more device based than anything. So all consumers and Workspace customers will see these changes on their tablets and their accounts. All right. Next one is more APIs, which is great. There is now the ability to migrate unmanaged accounts to your domain using the new user invitation API functionality. There you go. And this, just gives you a way to automatically interact with those unmanaged consumer accounts that have corporate emails. So if people had registered their Google accounts with their work emails, and you weren't preventing that, for example, by blocking the email that sends the PIN verification code to your users, they would have a consumer-based account. And this just gives you a way to, interact with those invitations that you can send out through the API. Better scalability, of course, when you're doing maybe a large migration and need to do a lot of sending of invitations to people. This can help substantially. So I'm sure this is going to be, not going to be, it's probably already in GAM. Haven't even checked about that, as I was thinking. Actually, I was thinking about this the other week. I'm like, if we're running short on updates, maybe we can talk about all the GAM updates.
Yeah, running short.
We probably need to have a whole episode just on GAM updates, given the number that
Ross over here
publishes each week. Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since have we had Ross on? I don't know. I don't think we have. No, I had him on the Workspace admins webinar. Yeah, we talked about some advanced use of GAM Advanced, for example, kind of how it all started also. With this API, you as an admin can get those invitations out more, at scale. And rollout for this one, it started on the 25th of July on a gradual rollout up to 15 days for visibility to both rapid release and scheduled release domains. So although the API is probably out there, may or may not be available for you to interact with yet on your domain. And it is limited here to certain environments. So it's going to be available to Business Starter, Business Standard, Business Plus, Enterprise Standard. I think they forgot Enterprise Premium. They just forgot the word Premium because they said Enterprise. And then Cloud Identity Premium and Cloud Identity Free customers. It will not be available to Workspace Essentials, Enterprise Essentials, Education Standard, Enterprise Plus. Yeah, so here we go. This is interesting. It says not available on Enterprise
what's
Plus.
Enterprise?
But then what is Enterprise? I think it's a typo. That doesn't make any sense to be not available on
Seriously,
Enterprise
somebody
Plus,
on the blog team who works on this, get in touch. I want to know more about this process. It's shocking to me that this isn't just automated tags that get put in based on, autofill based on availability.
Oh.
Click, 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 click.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's not.
Copy
No.
pasting.
I heard some insight into this. Yeah, actually the other week. I was talking to a Googler, and basically all the different teams handle their releases in different ways in terms of how they track them. Some teams like to do a collaborative Google Doc. Some teams like to do a sheet. Some teams, have some other system that they use to track all the updates and new releases. So even internally, it's a little bit all over the place, is what I was hearing. So, every team is able to kind of manage it how they want.
How very googly.
And that obviously creates some, right. So for that one, not available to the education standard. I'm pretty sure it's going to be available to Enterprise Plus. But then, of course, which other ones are right or which ones aren't right. But not available to Education Fundamentals, Education Plus, Frontline, Nonprofits, as well as Legacy, G Suite, Basic, and Business customers. All right, moving on to the next topic, working location enabled by default. So this, feature has been around for a while. earlier this year, which was back on May 10th. There was this, the improved user interface for sharing a working location was added to the calendar. But starting today, which was July 26th, as that article was written, you'll be able to set your working location without having to first enable this feature in your calendar settings. So for admins, working location is on by default, can be disabled at the domain or OU level. Current settings will remain the same unless updated in the admin console. And end users, if unless it was disabled by your admin, this feature is now on by default. So that will just give you that option at the top of your calendar view to set your working location and define that. You've got some options there of working in the office, working remote, setting a custom location, depending on where you're going to be. And you can also set some defaults, in terms of if you have a regular schedule into the office, you can set, that's your Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the office, for example, and then kind of a tweak and adjust it as needed each week. That's kind of what I do. I have a default, and then beginning of each week, I kind of make some adjustments based on what's happening with my schedule. Rollout pace for this one, this is going to be going to rep release domains first. I started when the announcement was made 26th of July on a gradual rollout up to 15 days for visibility. Scheduled release domains are going to get this starting on the 10th of August, and that is on an extended rollout, which means it can be longer than 15 days for visibility. And some variation here on availability. So it will be available to I'm going to do the shorter list. It is not going to be available to Workspace Essentials, Business Starter, Enterprise Essentials, and Frontline, as well as Legacy G Suite Basic customers, and it's not available to users with personal Google accounts. So available to everybody else. There we go. All right. And then, going into this other update here, we're talking about the cloud search and who's using cloud search. I'm interested to know, is anyone out there using cloud search? I'd love to kind of maybe have them on as a guest. It'd be great. Talk about how they use cloud search in their org. So reach out to us if you are one of those organizations. With this feature, Cloud Search Query API can be used to suggest filters to enhance cloud search results. And with this, suggest filters are being introduced for cloud search, and admins can specify a filter condition that will be pre-applied to keyword suggestions as a user types a query. So it will help surface more relevant suggestions and help reduce the time users spend searching, of course. So going to check that out as an admin. I'm sure you'll need to do a little bit of work there to start to enable that suggestion filter, and then your end users will start seeing that. It's available now for all users and Cloud Search customers. And then next update, education focused. It is that assignments audit data is now available in the admin console. So for those of you over on the education side of things, admins can now view assignment data in their audit logs. And using this data, admins can find and act on assignments-related events, such as who removed a student from a video call and which assignment files were created, submitted, or more. And that will, of course, be found in the reporting, audit, investigation, admin log events as a new drop-down, I presume. Rollout on that one is going to both rapid release and scheduled release domains, and it's available now as of when that article was published. And then specifically, available to Education Fundamentals, Education Plus, Education Standard, and the Teaching and Learning Upgrade Workspace environments. Of course, this is an education feature, not available to any of those other non-education workspace license types. And then, as we were talking about updates this week, so this one is the sixth of now looking like 7 updates that we have. And what we were talking about last week, in fact, it was that better search and suggestion options in Gmail are now going to be available. And I presume that kind of rolled out with a new look and feel. Maybe there was something not quite right about that, but we now have the link to the update working, which through the RSS feed happened the other week. That actually happened on it happened on July 27th. So, the date changed actually in the RSS feed. This is interesting. It's still down in between the 15th and the 18th, but the date has changed on it. It's like, and it's in my, in my RSS feed. I pull in the RSS feed, and that's what's happening. It's still showing from the other week, but it does have a new date in there, so that's interesting. Cool. Let me see. So the details, I think we probably talked about it already, but we'll rehash it. So some more contextual contact suggestions with intent matching available for names and email addresses, personalized suggestions based on historical exchanges, and how often you interact with your colleagues via Gmail. So for those features, it's rolling out to both rapid release and scheduled release domains, which started on July 27th. On a gradual rollout up to 15 days for feature visibility there. It's available to most everyone, but it is not going to be available to Workspace Essentials, Enterprise Essentials customers, which makes sense because I don't believe they have access to Gmail, some of those. Drive kind of collaboration features only. And then also not available to Legacy G Suite Basic and business customers. All right, and then the coolest one, I think, of the week is that the new integrated email marketing tools for Gmail are coming soon.
Crazy.
This is going to be comprised of... What's that?
Came out of nowhere.
It is crazy. Yeah. And it did come out of nowhere a little bit. Yeah. I don't know if I might have heard about some of these features before. I think I had heard about some of this years back with the mail merge functionality. Anyways, I think it was like a Chrome extension of course, or something like that, of course. Layouts. So layouts being one part, multi-send being another. Just bringing some of that marketing functionality that you would see from from something like a mail merge with a Google, not a Google Doc, but with a Microsoft document and Outlook, for example, those kind of things. So you can start to define layouts and then use those layouts to send to multiple people so that those emails look like they're individually sent. Now, it talks about mass emails here, right? Without the need to be CC all recipients, and your users are going to get the ability to unsubscribe, and keep that in mind. So anyone who unsubscribes is automatically excluded from future multi-send emails from you. So you'll be able to email them individually, I presume, but not through the multi-send functionality. So it's almost like you have a separate email marketing and opt-out list. This is going to be an interesting thing from a GDPR perspective. Yeah. Very interesting here. Wonder how this is going to be handled. I'm sure marketing managers too are going to love this. Now my users can do mail merge sends and not do it through our marketing tool and this and that. So I did see this. So this is kind of rolling out in two phases. Rolling out to the admin console, already there, saw it already, and giving admins the ability to configure the availability for their end users in advance. And that then will, of course, start to hit the end users' accounts once you've enabled that, if you've chosen to enable it, for example. Rollout pace for end user functionality, which I think is the most important thing, because these are the dates that you really have to be careful about. And we'll talk about it. Well, the admin controls rolled out July 28th on 15-day rollout, which is interesting because It's like, I guess it's staggered, right? If you don't get the admin controls, do you then get like the same 15 days window on like the end user side of things? Because, it's like admin controls roll out July 28th, up to 15 days, but then end users are going to get this starting August 8th on the wrap release domains, right? Which is in 15 days after July 28th, right? It's only like 10. So, I don't know. Timing windows are a little bit odd there. So as I was saying, rapid release, scheduled release domains, admin controls, it's out now. Check it out. Should be there already. The important dates to remember, though, for your end user functionality is the 8th of August for rapid release domains. So quickly approaching. It's going to be, what is that? Monday, I believe. Monday. Not like Sunday with our big truck races. Anyways, gradual rollout for rapid release domains, up to 15 days for visibility there. For those on scheduled release domains, starting a little bit later towards the end of the month, on the 22nd of August, and also on a gradual rollout up to 15 days for visibility. Not going to be available to everyone. So not going to be available to Workspace Essentials, Education Fundamentals, Education Teaching and Learning, Business Starter, and Enterprise Essentials, and Frontline customers, as well as G Suite Business customers. So the legacy ones. So it's interesting, right?
No,
are you reading the availability on this?
Help docs.
Because it says it is available to legacy G Suite Basic. It's available to legacy G Suite Basic customers, but not available to legacy G Suite Business customers.
Interesting.
Which doesn't make too much sense, right? Usually it's available on the higher tier, not the lower one, and not available on the higher one. Again, I think someone's got these mixed up.
I expected this to be more of a Workspace individual focused feature that they opened up to everybody else. This seems right up the alley of individual.
Yeah, it does mention that it's available to Workspace individual here on the availability.
And there is one thing
blurb.
to add here or to note,
I
which is why another reason why I think it is very well targeted to individual is that you are limited to sending to 1,500 recipients. Anybody who's generally sending more than that is probably using a MailChimp or Squarespace or HubSpot or whatnot service. Of course, that's per list or per email. You can have as many contacts as you want in contacts and then just set up the list that you want.
Well, not really.
How so?
No.
No. What I was saying is you could have lists of 1,500 people per list and then send it out on each email. I don't know if it would allow you to send out multiple emails, the same email to multiple people. Then you might hit sending limits, perhaps.
Yeah, because you can only send 2,000 messages per day.
That's probably where that limitation comes in. That's a good point.
So it's just below. It's just below that, So once you hit 1,500 per day in multi-send, you're done essentially, because you have 500 left essentially. So you got to use those for your regular email, and
makes sense.
That's it. Yep. I was actually working with some customers recently. They're using a third-party tool to send emails, and it connects to the API, and it does all this for them essentially. But it has all their templates and all the analytics and the links and everything there, so it's obviously does a lot more. But we're still working on some deliverability issues there, because they were trying to send emails through alias, sort of secondary domains that weren't part of the API, which was causing some issues. Anyways,
cool.
That's an interesting little project I'm working on.
So also you can select a layout on here, which is
updates.
Cool.
Oh, wait, it is in my pocket.
That's how we heard it before. Your phone.
It was muffled because it was, Yeah, it was muffled because it was in between.
I was just gonna
everything.
add to this that
Do
it
not store.
has some pretty decent looking layout templates that you can choose from. So it looks like they put a decent amount of thought into this.
Yeah.
Giving you the ability to do it. And
Yay.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna play around with it.
Looks pretty. Yeah, I will too. Looks good.
All right. That's all the updates.
That's all the updates.
Right. We got them all.
Over to you, Jesse.
Whew.
I'll jump in on a few of these. 'Cause I know
Yeah.
a few
Well, we did already.
for me, so
Go ahead.
yeah, you've got a whole episode ahead of you.
Yeah, it's my turn to talk, and your turn to sit in the back seat here.
It's like 45 minutes.
I talk
in,
faster
and
than
we're
you do,
just
so
done with the
everybody who's
updates.
listening to this on 2x, slow it down for my talking.
All right.
Well, this one you already kind of covered
Right.
a little bit. This is the new Google Workspace features for Android's larger screens. So this is just a keyword article which goes into a little bit more detail here, elaborating and refers back to Google I/O and some of the things that were shared and updated over there. So if you're interested in more details on that, you can just go and check out this post. I'm not going to go in too far into that update.
Yeah, they just give like a little bit different perspective on those articles, don't they? On the keyword compared to what the updates do. It's a little bit more marketing. Yeah, like
To quote the first paragraph in the post here, after a long day, I love to lounge on the couch, tablet in hand, checking my emails and adding to my to-do lists while watching TV. No, I don't. It's a great way to stay productive and get things done. No, I'm getting a beer, I'm eating dinner, I'm spending time with the family, and then maybe later on I'll look at my emails on my phone or something. But the tablet experience on the iPad is not great, so maybe if it were better, I would do some more email work on there. So, I don't know. Anyway, I guess that's Google's optimal world, or maybe executives that never stop working live there. But my life does not look exactly like that. Anyway, moving on. Next one is a Chrome Unboxed article, which talks about Chrome OS personalization and productivity features that were announced. Hold the presses, or stop the presses, hold the phones. It's been available for a while as a flag, but dark mode for Chrome OS is finally here. It's the ability to choose either light or dark mode, but also the ability to set it to be automatic based on the time of day, which a lot of people like to use, and you've been able to do on Mac and Windows for a while, so that's good stuff there. I have to play around with this. I actually forgot that the flag had rolled out, so I haven't tested it yet. I think I turned it on once, and I got the dark loading screen, which was very, very nice for when not the loading screen, the startup screen in Chrome OS. So if you ever do a update or a reboot or turn it on for the first time and it was totally off and you're in the dark and you turn on that loading screen, you'll be familiar with the blinding white light that shows up with the Chrome logo on there. Well, now that's inverted. It's black and the lettering is white, as most dark mode screens are. So that's definitely a welcome addition there. The next thing that they have in there is something called the Personalization Hub, which is pretty much the way it sounds. Is you can personalize your wallpaper, your screensaver. You can do dark mode in there and choose where your photos that are on your screens are coming from, such as Google Photos and so on. So that's pretty good, and something that we've wanted to have more centralized setup in for a long time. Another one that I have been waiting for a long time that I'm very happy to see here is the ability to have a calendar show up over by the clock. If you click on the date, you will get a actual month layout calendar showing up, which is fantastic because I live and die by the calendar, and I'm constantly checking dates and, okay, when was this, when was that? And this takes it a step further, and it is actually apparently integrated with Google Calendar. So I'm very excited to see how that is going to work. And they say here in the article, it's a live calendar with dots representing dates where you have added events. And when you tap on them, it will show you that event in more detail. So very much looking forward to that, as my Google Calendar basically runs my everything, my day-to-day. And then another thing on here, which is huge for a lot of people in my organization, I imagine a lot of people in other organizations as well, is that the Gallery app is now able to edit PDFs natively. You can do signatures, you can do annotations, highlights, things like that. You'll be able to open and edit PDFs, which is fantastic. For a long time here, we've struggled with what's the best way to do that. And here you're going to be able to enter annotation mode, fill out forms, woohoo, highlight text, and even sign documents, as I mentioned. So all of these features are going to be rolling out in August. That's pretty much everything that's on here. And I have played with a couple of these over on the beta channel. So far, so good, and looking forward to them rolling out, and loving the 4-week update window instead of the longer 6-week one. Things get shipped faster, so that's nice. There's another one in here about organization that's coming in late September, that you'll be able to save and close a virtual desk, including all of the open windows and apps, and then resume and reopen that same desk later, just as it was left. So that's pretty cool, and I imagine that people are going to use that for things like different profiles, Steve, or research, or things along those lines, different apps that you use, or different areas or times of your day, things like that. So good stuff there. Continuing on the Chromebook talk, Chrome OS talk, is a article from the Keyword, which again embellishes a little bit differently, and they are putting the focus on a video editing app that is coming to the Chromebook as part of Google Photos. Google Photos is getting a new movie editor, and they have a screenshot in here, but they say the UI is subject to change, so it's not fully baked yet, but they are working on it. And this has been something that I know Chrome Unboxed and a lot of other people have talked about, is one of the big tests of running lots of daily tests on there, or things that a lot of people do on the Chromebooks, is a video editor. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but obviously for people in content it is, and for those in school want to just throw together a quick video, it's also a pretty big deal for them. So I guess it is a good thing to have in here, and you can learn more about what's coming in terms of the video editor, which takes up most of the attention of this post, by clicking on the link in the show notes. They also include here the Talk About the Gallery app. There's a screencast app that you can use to record, view, and share transcribed videos and presentations, whether it's a virtual lesson or a how-to video or demo, which I think we've mentioned in the past here when that first launched, and some of the other features that they've also talked about in the past, such as a cursive app, which is capture, edit, and organize handwritten notes on stylus-enabled Chromebooks, and so on and so forth. So all the details on those different features and more on that post, so go and take a look. All right. To continue reiterating the same point, apparently I have 3 different articles here on the same bunch of announcements. There's a Verge article on editing PDFs on Chrome OS, so we're going to skip that one because I've beat that horse already. The next one is bringing Google to Chicago's Thompson Center. So this is in Steve's, I won't say in Steve's backyard, but definitely in your neck of the woods over there.
Yeah, pretty much close enough.
Close to
backyard
me.
Reference as you can get. As the title suggests, Google is intending to buy the Thompson Center. They've not actually bought it, but they've announced their intention to buy it. There's a lot of renovation that needs to happen on it right now. The building's been there, I think, from like the 1980s, if I recall. Or when did it get built? It was 85 was when it was completed. The hotel that closed in 73 was demolished in 80. So that's how it kind of all happened. But it is, from a Chicago perspective, is the only building that has 6 of the L trains coming into it. So very convenient. They all converge there in that building, and a lot of things happening there. It's also kind of the state's second capital. It's the Illinois state government kind of operates out of there as well. So pretty iconic building. Also, if you look at the picture of it, it's pretty cool. So it's a pretty cool building. Google is, as I said, announced their intention to buy it, and after renovation is complete and all goes well, they anticipate to occupy that Thompson Center starting in 2026. So seems like a long way away, but I'm sure it'll be here before we know it, and we'll be on, episode what?
Season 6.
250 or something like that, or 300 by that time, right?
It will be.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's a cool thing. And then, as I said, in the article that Google published about that, there was some reference to 1871, which is where I work at as director of technology there for their Google for Startups location here in Chicago, which is cool. So they do a lot of events out of our space and help us out with a lot of sponsorship and for things and like that. And then also on the topic of Chicago, C2C is having a local Chicago event. They had one out on the West Coast, I think recently, near you, Jesse.
I went to the one prior.
Heard about that or seen that or went there.
So I did not go to that one.
Yeah. So this one coming to Chicago, focused on AI, ML, data modeling, things like that. There seems to be a couple Google partners, Circe and Python, kind of going to be there along with a customer from Rockwell Automation. And we were just talking about this earlier regarding the SADA event. The moderator from Google is going to be Lila Jones, whom I also know actually worked with her on some deals and opportunities in the past. She listed on the C2C event as head of corporate sales, but I think she's broadening her scope because she's also listed as head of ISVs and marketplace sales for North America over with SADA's event. So, she'll be a good moderator. She's a great speaker. She also is like a professor over at up at Evanston here at Northwestern in Chicago. Well, in Evanston, we say Chicago, but Evanston technically. I think she frequents Chicago pretty often. I think she lives around here somewhere in the Midwest.
Seems like an awesome person.
Where exactly? Anyways, that'll be happening. Yeah, that'll be happening in the coming weeks. Yeah, she was doing. She also did a Google Next talk a couple years ago, and it was in person. I think it was like the. What is the thing that they do? Google does like empowering something. I forget what it was, but it's something like that. She handles that.
Seems like she's pretty busy over there
within Google.
She also apparently recently climbed Kilimanjaro.
Yeah, that event. Oh.
According to her bio over here. Yeah, hell yeah.
It's pretty.
I'm not climbing Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
Sure, I'd go to the visitor center. Yep.
Right at the
I think you can drive up to
lowest point. That event. Yeah, that event was C2C in Chicago. They're calling it C2C to Gather is what their events are being called when they're in person. Number 2 in Gather. Yeah, to Gather. Happening August 11th at 3 p.m. local time. So register. You have to register and create a new account. I found out it's not very obvious, other than in the footer, that they're using a different platform for their events, powered by Bevy. So when it says, log in to RSVP, you have to create a new account to RSVP. You can't use your existing C2C account for that purpose. So keep that in mind. Found that out. Yep. Next, another topic that I added in, so I'll kind of carry on from here and
that's fine.
The next couple of ones, actually. I mean, unless you want to talk about it, you can feel free to talk about the DoD IL4 authorization. I don't really know too much about it. I did see it though, and given that it's specific to Workspace, this was of probably interest to some orgs out there, and just in general, in terms of what Google's doing with Workspace in terms of security and things like that with information. This was announced back on July 20th. Will Granis, who's the Google Public Sector CEO, which we talked about in an episode a little while back, talking about Google launching their Google Public Sector arm, specifically having a dedicated division just for that. This new IL4 classification just provides some some additional controls for organizations that are handling CUI data, so controlled unclassified information, and if you are needing to kind of handle that workspace now, kind of aligns with this IL4 authorization from the government. So if you are related to military and aerospace and any kind of those government DoD type contracts, Workspace now has this new authorization to help you use it for those types of projects. Next,
I have not.
is the robot game.
I'm a big fan of the dinosaur game,
this?
though,
You
so
used it yet?
I
I've
look
used
forward
it.
to playing the
I
robot.
used it a couple times. Yep. Yeah, it's really easy. It's basically the up, down, jump over things type of a thing.
Adorable.
You're jumping over computers, I think, if I recall correctly, instead of trees and whatnot.
Trees and eventually
what was the
pterodactyls
dinosaur jumping
if you
over
get
trees,
far
like,
enough.
right? Or like tumbleweed.
Obviously,
Yeah. Oh,
you're not a diehard dino game player.
Maybe I never played enough. I guess.
Oh, I'm great at that. There was actually somebody
never
who
that good. Wasn't that
hacked
good.
together a sensor tied to the keyboard that basically would be an optical sensor on the screen that would look for whenever the pixels change and automatically make the dino jump. So I think he
Yeah.
got all the way to the end of the run or something. I certainly had never gotten to the end of the run. I'm not even sure there is an end to the run, to be honest. So, I guess. Yeah.
Someone found it, I guess, with this.
Alrighty, onward. We have a blog post here on the keyword from Ruth Porat, which is Google's support for the Economic Opportunity Coalition. So this is highlighting some of the work that Google has done to help support through their programs such as the Google Career Certificates or the Grow with Google Small Business Fund from a couple of years ago, and their commitment to supplier diversity. But essentially, what they're doing here is they're launching what they're calling the Economic Opportunity Coalition, which is a group dedicated to building an equitable economy. So essentially what that means is that they're working together with public, private, and nonprofit sectors to find a way to help close the racial wealth gap in the United States. Interesting. They've pioneered solutions for these issues and they continue to do so, such as their $100 million Google Career Certificates Fund, which they mention up higher in the article. Not a very comprehensive blog post here, but basically a new financing model to provide loans and grants to students through social finance, a leading national nonprofit in the field of workforce development, essentially working through all of the different Google platforms and programs to help extend the reach and availability of Google programs and services. So good work there. The next one is this article had a lot of people talking, a lot of news organizations talking about it. Google CEO Sundar Pichai says productivity is, quote, not where it needs to be. This is a common thread in, well, everybody, but tech companies especially recently, especially because a lot of them just posted their earnings and had their stock calls. But essentially, everybody's pulling the reins. Everybody is pulling back and eliminating a lot of their workforce or letting a lot of people go simply because the economy is pulling back and nobody knows what's happening right now. And so similar to a lot of other companies, including Apple and Facebook and other mega companies, Google has found a way here to kind of word it so that it doesn't make it look like they're in pain, which they're probably not, because even though ads do pull back, as Facebook said, or Meta said during their call, that they're definitely influenced by less spending in the advertising. I think Snap said that as well in their earnings. A lot of these companies are suffering is basically what I'm trying to say here. But essentially, Google has said that the company is, quote, not currently planning layoffs and are looking for a more efficient Google. Zuckerberg from Facebook, obviously, he was quoted saying something along the lines of, and this was leaked a bit, but he was quoted somewhere along the line saying, basically, get rid of anybody who's an underperformer, although he didn't say it as nice. So I think Google is going for a similar attack here, and now my Google Home is listening to me, so good times. But essentially, the CFO of Google, Ruth Porat, who we quoted already in a couple of other blog posts here, said, quote, uncertainty in the global economic environment, and that's why they missed their revenue expectations. And so, like I said, everyone here is hurting. Google is trying to figure out the best way to stay fiscally responsible during this time. But that also means batten down the hatches, everybody focus on efficiency and getting to work and getting things out. Now, that being said, maybe if they stopped building 10 simultaneous messaging apps since 2015, they could actually get some real progress and momentum going, but I digress, and I'm sure the new head of Workspace will have something to say about that in the future as well, so stay tuned there. Then Steve posted and talked about this before. We have a link here to learn more about the new Professional Cloud Database Engineer certification. Sorry, correction. Steve talked more about the Chrome OS Administrator certification. This one is a different event entirely. I apologize. This is directly from Google Cloud on air, and is if you're looking to refresh, modernize, and validate your experience in database administration, then this is an event that is designed for you, and it's all about the Google Cloud Professional Cloud Database Engineer certification. Goodness, that's a name. Okay. You'll be able to do live Q&A and talk about how Google Cloud Credentials and Training can boost your resume, as well as who the Professional Cloud Database Engineer certification is for and what relevant training can help you prepare for the certification. So a lot of focus here on the different certifications that they're doing. We are going to hopefully soon get somebody on from the Workspace certification program as well to come and talk about that. So stay tuned for that as well. And I think the last update I have here, we already pretty much discussed almost all the details about it here. But this is no, we're talking about other certifications. Too many certifications here. Steve is making faces at me. This is the Professional Chrome OS Administrator Beta.
No, sorry.
This is a new one. Professional Chrome OS Administrator is somebody that they describe as a system administrator or a junior engineer with 12 plus months of holistic IT infrastructure experience. So pretty much anybody who is listening to this show, most likely. The Professional Chrome OS Administrator should be able to configure, deploy, maintain, troubleshoot, secure, and manage infrastructure and services. Essentially, if you are an IT professional and you have been managing Chrome OS through the admin dashboard, this is something you should definitely look into. During the beta, the registration is free. Google covers the normal Google covers the normal $125 registration fee. It is a 5-hour test that is taken in 2 parts, which is rather brutal. But hey, you do get to save on the cost of the registration, which is great, and you get to prove that you're an early adopter by having a low certificate number if you pass, which I believe Steve has like low single digits on almost all of the certifications out there. So, You've had a few.
All of them. I've had some like reset.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to get
20,
in here and see
I'm
if
20
I can
on the
beat you
collaboration.
out. Get an early one. There's also exclusive swag up for grabs for the beta participants, which is always appreciated. You will have to take a exam online, proctored from a remote location, and another one on site, proctored at a testing center. Mm-hmm. So if you're a little far from any of their testing centers, you're screwed. But I guess you'll have to wait for the next for it to come out of beta and get more widespread. This is something that's really cool, and again, good to see Google pushing out a lot more certifications and trainings around their products, and it brings really a great way for somebody who's hiring to just say, oh, this person is Chrome OS admin certified. Great, let's hire them. So,
yeah.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, I could take one this morning at 7:15 in the morning, a couple hours, 7 hours.
Get that very exclusive 001 number. That's it.
Yeah, I think it started a couple days ago, actually, so I'm not going to make that. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Brian registered, or Kim registered, I think,
he's
already.
Out in Canada.
So
they have a different numbering system. So. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Kind of poke at the Canadians every once in a while, right?
Right. Yeah. Actually, you know what? I am available tomorrow morning at 7, so I might actually. Oh no, I
Can't take a 5-hour
8
test.
o'clock. Yeah, I might not
You
be
have
able to do
a
it.
meeting an hour later. All right, I'm going to go and poke
Yeah.
around on my webcam here, because if anybody who's been watching on the video side of things has noticed, my white balance and saturation and exposure and all that fancy camera jazz has been changing throughout the video as I keep going, why am I purple? Why am I pink? Why am I this? Why am I that? So tweaking it live, because that's how we do things around here. But I will try to get this tuned in much tighter for next week's show. That's all for this week. Send us your questions and comments on Twitter at Workspace Recap and on our website, workspacerecap.com. Hit the subscribe button and leave us a review on all of your favorite podcasting platforms, or just one, whichever one you're listening to. If you're over on YouTube, hit the subscribe button for the channel. Check out our other content. Hit the thumbs up on the channel and drop your comments in the comments area below. I'm getting into more of a groove with how to say that as a professional YouTuber and all that jazz. One day at a time. Have a great week, and we will see you next time on Workspace Recap.